they are born, they go back, but this is an endless cycle. So the jivas they carry their prakriti with them. Prakriti means their nature, their samskaras, so they continue in that. So then we talked about Brahmaji's day and Brahmaji's night. So when the day is there, all the creatures are in a manifested form. They are all, and they in the manifested also they go through multiple changes. See, for humans, say the average lifespan is 80 years. I'm just giving some random number. But for a mosquito, it is few hours in which they are born, they reproduce, they die. They have gone through all this whole cycle in a couple of hours. Like a dog has, 12 to 15 years of a lifespan. So everybody has their own lifespan, but they go through these the changes. They go through these experiences of this jagat. So because some say it is the only creation, some say it is continuous, that means there is no night. So everything is just manifest only. And because we say there is a the reason why we say there is a Brahmaji has a day and night, it is because Brahmaji is also a jiva, only with a longer lifespan. That's all. But it is a most subtle jeev, which has the power to create, power to project. So this is the and this is going on over and over and over. There is no end to it. Now, two things we talked about in this one. One is that what power, if suppose we say that God has created it, the way he wanted, then there is a problem. We called it the Parirartham dosha or Vaishamya dosha. Vyakto avyakta sanatanaha. So that all beings, sa sarveshu bhuteshu, all beings are going to go through these cycles. Because there is you should understand, so there is the world of objects. Subtler than that is the senses. Subtler than that is the mind. Subtler than mind is the intellect. Subtler than the intellect is the total intellect. Subtler than that, which is the Brahmaji, or we can say Hiranyagarbha. So there is the unmanifested Prakriti, and beyond that is the Brahma. The unmanifested, because there is two avyaktas are talked about here. Avyakta, avyakta, sanatana. So there is one avyakta which is Prakriti, and there is another avyakta which is the Brahman, which is the consciousness. So here it says that is the final paraha. Paraha means beyond. So there is nothing beyond that. It is like the buck stops there. So there is the problem is that Prakriti is also avyakta. What is avyakta, by the way? Avyakta is unmanifest. So let me give you some example. Then it'll probably make it clearer. So let's think of a projector. Now, in the projector, what do we have? We have a big bulb, the very high luminosity, right? And that bulb projects, or that just is there, right? But because of that, when there is a reel in front of it, it projects a movie. Now, what are the components we are talking about? We are talking about the projector, which is basically a very big bulb, Then there is unmanifest Prakriti. That means unmanifest movie, which is in the form of a reel. And that reel, when it comes in contact with that light, it projects that is called manifested world. The manifested world is जो ब्रह्मा जी का दिन है, that is the manifested prakriti, where all the jivas come alive. They start doing whatever they are supposed to do. The bugs start doing what they do, and the dogs start doing what they do, and cats do what they do, and humans do what they do. So point is that endless cycle starts. But the most important is uh, the the bulb. That light is the important thing. That light is pervading every atom of the screen. The screen is also Brahman, because screen is unchanging. Screen is not changing at all. It is also in a uh, or we can say it is hologram, whatever, not to confuse you anyway. So so the manifestation means when it becomes available for us to experience, that is called manifested or vyakta. Avyakta means it is not available to us. That's all. So again, going back to that projector example, so the light is the key in this thing. Though light is not you know the other thing is that the Brahman doesn't get manifested. It has nothing to do with the movie. It just throwing that light, and by that light or the presence of it makes that movie available. The movie becomes active, because the movie itself has no power to show, right? But only because of that light it becomes available. There is a question coming up from other side of the table. Yeah. You want to come closer? Mm. That it's not that Brahman is throwing light. Yeah. It's not that Brahman is throwing light. It is self-effulgent. So in its presence, everything yes. lights up. Yes, very, very good point. The word that I used was throwing the light. It is not something Bhagavan has to do. It is its nature. The nature is self-effulgent. So because of its nature, it becomes available. So anyways, so that's does that example make sense? Okay, all right. So that's how the Prakriti becomes manifested. Because now, because of the Brahman, in presence of that Prakriti, the Prakriti says, okay, now everything is available. Because Prakriti can be unmanifest and Prakriti can be manifest. But the Brahman can never be manifest. And there is no part of Prakriti which says it is like Brahman. There's nothing like it. It is paraha. It is so there are and the other thing is that all beings, even if they get destroyed, the avyakta nature doesn't get destroyed. Even the avyakta nature gets merged back into the Brahman. It becomes laya, in the ultimate reality. But after the 100 years of Brahmaji, on the last 5 seconds, Brahmaji says, okay, he gets a send-off party and it goes back. Then a new Brahmaji comes about, a new Prakriti comes about, and all that things happen. So, yasa sarveshu bhuteshu, all these manifestations, including Brahmaji, because Brahmaji is also in an unmanifest, but because of him, When he is awake, the manifestation starts. That's, both gross and subtle. So, the Prakriti is avyakt, but it doesn't have independent existence. That's the important point that we have to take from this particular verse. So, but the avyakta purusha, which is the Brahman, the ultimate consciousness, that becomes available through, uh, or let me put it another way. That is always there, but because of its presence, all the other things can act. They become manifest. Okay. So यहाँ पे अव्यक्त व्यक्त काफी बारी आया है. So I just wanted to explain what is the difference, because this theme continues a little more in the next few verses also. So point is that Brahman is distinct from, or the avyakta purusha is distinct from the avyakta prakriti. That's one key takeaway from this is, and any part of the prakriti is distinct and different from uh, that Brahman. So that's why there are two words used for the avyakta purusha. It says it is anya and it is paraha. Anya means it is no characteristics of Brahman is available in Prakriti. It is not Sat. Everything in Prakriti is changing. It is not Chit. There is no consciousness in that. Consciousness is coming from that Avyakta Purusha, and the Anand, the is coming from that Purusha only. So all that belong to Purusha is Anya and it is Paraha. It is distinct, different, and it is beyond. That's what we have to understand from it. So, or we can say that it has no resemblance with Prakriti. See, in my nature also, if I say, oh, I am this body or mind or intellect, but some guru comes and tells me, no, you are Satchit Ananda Swarup. That Satchit Anand is not there in neither my body nor my mind nor my intellect. Correct? That characteristics of who I am is not available in any of the manifestations that I see. So that is where Bhagwan is pointing to here. Avyakto akshara ityutaha. Now the 21st thing is saying this iti yuktaha. That means the so-called, avyakta akshara. The so-called avyakta akshara means Brahman or consciousness. Tamahum paramam gatim. So that is the final destination. That's where everything finally merges, or that is the final goal of all beings, Yam prapyana nivartante. By attaining that, you never return. Return means you don't come back to this world of suffering. Last time we talked about dukha alayam. Bhagavan used the word dukha alayam for this samsara. So he never returned to that dukha. And tad dhamam parmam mama. And what is that dhama? It is me. Bhagavan is saying, that's me. I am that dhama. I am that final goal, final destination. So now just to recap on, because it's mentioned here again, the difference between avyakta purusha and avyakta prakriti. So prakriti is also avyakta. It is not available. The jagat is available. So Jagat is a manifestation of Prakriti. The Maya is not available, like you can't see Maya, but effects of Maya are present in the Jagat and in Jiva. So, so it is Avyakta, so is Purusha. Purusha is also Avyakta, but Purusha is Sanatana. Prakriti is not Sanatana. And also, it may be Anadi. Anadi means you can't say when this ignorance started. Ignorance is always there, but it has an end. While Brahman is Anadi and Ananta. Okay. So, though it, and the other thing is the Prakriti has the power to manifest as Jagat and Jiva, while Brahman doesn't manifest at all. But its presence make everything else, uh, what should I say, appear manifested, or they are, the experiencing is possible. Without Brahman, experiencing is not possible. So, though it is not part of experiencer or experienced object, you know, though it is not part of it, it is, but its presence is important. Like the bulb's presence is important, but it is not playing any part in it. Sometimes we may say, okay, let's not stretch this example too much because bulb does play a part in it. But here, the consciousness is not playing any part of manifestation, but because of it, and the reason why we get bound is because of the wrong understanding or the wrong relationship that we develop with samsara. We think samsara is where all the joy is, which is the problematic statement. So uh, and then Bhagavan says, those who finally reach me, they don't go through this misery again. And this is not something that you have to go at the time of death only. A Jivan Mukta is also is reveling in that uh, his own true nature of Satchidanand. So that's the point. So it is to be known means gyatva, yat gyatva. The gyatva means by knowing it. You don't have to do anything. Just knowing. See, ignorance is not something you have to kill with a sword. You cannot kill it. You just have to know. So the goal is knowing and not doing. See, Baki, in most religions, we find that you have to do something to get to that salvation. We say we don't have to do anything. We just have to know. That's the important difference. So how do you reach that? That's in the next one. Purusha sa para partha. Hey Parth, it can, how do you reach there? Bhagavan is telling that what is to be reached? That paraha purusha. That sa purusha paraha. That which is beyond everything, beyond avakta prakriti also. That purusha is available only through bhaktya labhyan tav anyayaha. It is available only through ananya bhakti. Now this is slowly we are moving from gyan to bhakti. Now there is no difference though in gyan and bhakti, but here it says that labhante means that you find, you get it. That is only available ananya bhakti, not any bhakti. Ananya means there is no other than Bhagwan, and that Bhagwan is nothing other than me. That oneness with Bhagwan is the key here. That is Ananya Bhakti. It is not like there is only one God and that is Christ. That's not the point. There is only one God and that resides in me. I am that, that oneness with Bhagwan is the key. That bhakti. Yes, yanta sthani bhutani. And where is that? Uh, the indweller? Antahstani. Antahstani means in me. It is residing in me. Yena sarvam idam tatam. So yena sarvam idam. Sarvam idam means when we say this, all that we can, the manifested world, uh, it is in me and it manifests all that I can, in the manifestation, which is kind of strange. If we say that it is not available in there, then also there is a problem because there is nothing other than Bhagwan. So Bhagwan is there in everything. So that includes what is manifest, what is unmanifest, and because of which I am able to experience everything. So which Purusha we are talking about? By this, the question was Antakale. In the end, when this yogi leaves, where does he go? That's that, or what is his mindset at that time? How does he see you, Bhagwan? That was the question that Arjuna has asked. And this is the answer to it, that which Purusha? Yasyanta sthani bhutani. So that it is residing in everything, by whom all this word is pervaded. Pervaded doesn't mean that there is a word and then Bhagwan enters it. No, it is like light pervading the movie. Everything is light only. So if suppose I am watching TV and he say, which part is light? Every single, pixel of that is light only. Some are dark, some are gray, some are yellow, some are blue, some are. So this different pigmentations are there, but it is only play of light. The same way the Brahman alone is what we see. Jagat is only different, manifestations. So anyway, that means everything is illumined by Bhagwan. It is the illuminator and it is the sustainer of everything. So how to reach that? How to, you know, understand that? So he says, it is only through Ananya Bhakti, because in Vedanta we say you have to go through, when we do sadhan chatushtaya, what do we do? Develop vivek, vairagya, shat sampatti, mumukshutvam. All this is actually pointing towards that Ananya Bhakti only. It is not a separate technique. These techniques are used to develop that Ananya Bhakti. So, because what is the last one in that? Mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means I am done. I have had enough now. I want to find my own true self. I want to get rid of my dukkha for good, not like temporarily. कम से कम आज सुख दे दो आज तो आराम से जीने दो no, it's like not a temporary solution. I want a permanent solution. The uh, that's the goal. So that's where we have to understand कि ये Vedanta is, when we say Gyan Marg, as if it is just an intellectual, some kind of acrobat, but it is not. It is developing that bhakti only. If we are just doing it to have, points over other people, then it is not Ananya Bhakti. Then it is your ego playing you. So, but the goal is that. So the Arjuna says, okay, Bhagavan, I get your point. I understand what you're saying. So you said that they reach me and never return. What is that dharma? Where is it? Reach me means I must be going somewhere. When Bhagwan says something like this, our first thought is, अच्छा ये तो भगवान के ये ब्रह्मा जी के तो 14 लोक हो गए, yeah, all these bhuva, bhava, swaha, all these tapaha, jana, whatever, maha and brahma lok. This is where do they go? That's a question. Because up to Brahmalok, we can see people keep punavrattim. Punaravrattim means they keep coming and going. They can go to Swarga, then they come back. Then they go to some Pitraloka, they have to come back. Or they go to some lower worlds, Sutala, Patala, whatever, the different names are there. They say they are infinite number, but 14 is the major categories. So in this particular case, where is it that they don't return? The particular point is not discussed anywhere, except in Upanishads. We talk about that because it is vague and unclear. How do you explain something that subtle? Because it is not something comprehensible by intellect. Because we think of logic, अच्छा ये 14 लोग हैं, we can go back and forth from these. But Vedanta says those who realize Brahman or Brahma Tattva and they realize that that is me. See, it is not realizing that there is something called Brahman. वो तो सबको पता है, kindergartner also knows. Go to Chinmay Mission Balviyar, they will tell you that. But that is me is the more key ingredient to that. It is not something that we are talking to worship. It is to realize that that is my true nature. And once I realize then who is going back and forth? Because I have realized I am not that ego, intellect, mind, you know. So let mind rest after that. There it doesn't matter. Even when the mind is playing games, I can watch it like I watch my kid play, I am not affected by it. I am not impacted by it. I get impacted by things that I have developed raga dvesha with. Without raga dvesha, there is no impact. See, if I have no raga for what is going on in Israel and Palestine, I may be on one side or the other, right? It doesn't matter. But if I have no raga or dvesha, then the news doesn't have an impact on me. But if I am a pro Palestine or pro Palestine or pro Israel, then every news will impact me because of the strong raga dvesha. Anyways, that state is called Jivan Mukta. That state is what we are talking about. That is no punaravrattim. That means there is no going back after that. So that is what is mentioned here as Ananya Bhakti. What is Bhakti? Bhakti that by definition is Parama Prema Rupa. Prem means when you start to identify with that, see, one is to know something and one is to love something. The love happens after you have known and you develop that oneness with it. See, why do we love our children? Because we have developed oneness with them. Why do we love our spouse or our friends? Because I see I am one with them. That's why people, care anyways. So this is the important points of this particular verse. And because we have all kinds of people, right? Some have no Shastra Gyan and they don't want to have any Shastra Gyan. They just say, this world is wonderful. I am enjoying it. Leave me alone. Let me have the best of life. So be it. So what happens to them? They keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, punaravrattim, depending on, what they have done. They just, their karma and karma phala, it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It just is, you know. So that is what is the जिसको बोलते हैं संसारी, totally immersed in संसार. Just roller coaster ride के ऊपर इतना मजा आ रहा है that they want to keep coming back on that. Then there are some others who say, okay, you know what? Maybe there is a way to get out of it, or let me get a relief from my suffering. Then they start doing more rituals, more religious activities. So they may get to a different loka, but it is also temporary. If they go to Pitra loka, Swarga loka, whatever. Then there are others who do charity, social work, they want to dedicate their life on those things. So they may go to other lokas like Pitra loka, Chandra loka, and we'll see that in next few verses. And then there are people who do a lot of Sagun Upasana. So they go to Brahma Loka. Brahma Loka is where they are given this knowledge by Brahmaji himself. When Brahmaji does that, then either you get it or you come back again. And then this is called Krama Mukti. Krama Mukti means in a sequence you get there. Jivan Mukti is when as soon as your ignorance is gone, then you are free. That's like your Hriday Granthi is broken. Your ignorance is gone. So um, now this particular verse is not going to take too long. I'll just talk about it a little bit. Yatra kale tvanavrittim avritim chaiva yoginah prayata yanti tam kalam vakshyami bharatarshava. O Bharatarshava, O the great in the Bharat Vansh, ki yatra kale tvanavrittim, that means anavrittim, that means in that state when there is no coming back. Avritim chaiva yogina. But some yogis do come back also. Some are like done, there's no coming back. Some will come back. Prayata yanti tam kalam. And what is that time? In which time they go and never come back, and which time they go and come back. You know, let me vakshyami. Let me tell you about that. It's like Bhagwan is giving another nugget of confusion to Arjuna. Say, okay, if I have not confused you enough, let me tell you. There is a particular time. If you go there, then there is no coming back. But if you are not in that time, then you come back. It's a very interesting, but we'll. So, what is that secret time? That time of death of a yogi, or so what is the time there is no return, and what is the time that the yogis return? So there is these two types of yogis. One is called the karminaha yogi, and one is called the jnani yogi. So karmina yogi means the one who is doing a lot of sadhana, you know more rituals, more, the jnani is where only sadhana he is doing it about understanding his own true nature. That's his goal. When they die, what happens? So we will cover it up next time, but we can now talk about uh, what we have understood. I would like to get some feedback from you guys. Let me just